Number 2.
My number 2 is Sing Street.
Hey!
I like happiness. It's a good time.
That's a crime now.
I know it's hard, but just watch Sing Street and you'll be happy.
It's a pick-me-up movie, for
Yeah,
sure.
and you know
If you're sick, watch Sing Street.
the whole movie, you're kind of like waiting for the really bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't come, and I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, the music's great. All the kids are super fun, and like the ending is like it ends on a hopeful note.
Yeah.
And I love the relationship between the main kid and his older brother.
Yes. That was probably my favorite
That
thing
is
about
the best
movie.
thing about the movie.
Yeah, I
And
love that older brother character.
that is like the quintessential cool older brother in film.
He's so great, but at the same time, they kind of show like he's kind of a loser, and but he's ashamed of that, and he's a really well done character. That actor did a great job.
Yeah,
I'd like to find out what else he's done.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
Most of the actors in the entire movie have not been in very much.
yeah. He's definitely a character I could relate to. Like someone just very passionate and very like these are the things you need to get into. Younger sibling.
Yeah. And it's just like I love seeing that like solid sibling relationships.
Yeah.
And like I mean,
My sister doesn't show up very much, but I liked her too.
yeah, the sister isn't in it nearly as much as the brother, but like so the spoiler alert, the kids find out that their parents are getting separated.
But yeah,
because
Littlefinger and their mom.
They like the three of them are just like kind of hiding away in their room, and they're like playing some music and they're like dancing as siblings, and it was just like a super fun, happy moment. And you know what? People who find bad news, they don't always just sit in it. They try to make themselves happy. And good, make yourself happy. And that was a really fun moment. Like the sister's a little bit of a stick in the mud, but they get her to dance with them, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's just
a good time.
such a feel good movie from like start to end. And I was just like I was waiting the whole movie for the bad thing. And it didn't come, and it made me so happy. And man, what a good movie.
Yeah, I watched it with some friends of mine, and they hate like sad movies. So they kept asking me, like, "Is she gonna drown? Is someone gonna die?" I'm like, "No, nobody dies."
I was like looking at how long the movie is. I'm like, there's not enough left in the movie for this to have a sad ending, is there?
Yeah, just really, really great. Yeah, very charming movie.
It's just a good movie.
Yeah, great music.
Great music.
So my number 2 is a tie.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. You give me so much for tie, but I like tie at number 10. No.
Mine's way up there. Yeah, I could not decide between these two movies. So one is Swiss Army Man.
Oh, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, and the other is The Lobster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never got around to watching The Lobster. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's really good though. You should check it out.
I know.
So
a good time.
I'll talk about Swiss Army Man first.
Because I already talked about it.
You already talked about it. So it is possibly the best movie about friendship I've ever seen. There is something about Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe's chemistry, even though Daniel Radcliffe is playing an almost dead person, that is really wonderful. And Paul Dano is like trying to teach his character the ways of the world, basically. But he's kind of weird. He's kind of an outsider and kind of an outcast, and so
he's kind of like discovering things about the world by teaching it.
Yes, yeah, he's teaching himself through teaching Daniel Radcliffe's character, and it's great because Daniel Radcliffe just has these great little questions about things, and it's really wonderful. Very, very genuine, very heartfelt. It is a movie that really it points out a lot of flaws about society and says like, well, why can't we do these things? So I'm just gonna say the word because you didn't say the word, so I'll say the word.
Oh yeah.
There's farts. There's a lot of farts in this movie. So They basically took a tool that Adam Sandler would use for a cheap laugh, and they turned it into like a plot device. So this film was made by Daniels. I don't remember both of their names. It was Daniel something and Daniel something, and they made a lot of like weird short films, and they've done stuff for like Adult Swim. So they show up. They're very surreal and strange, but they have this script, and their pitch for it was, we want to make a movie where the first fart makes you laugh and the last fart makes you cry. Which is insane. It is absolutely insane. It sounds so dumb and childish on paper.
They totally do it, though.
But they pull it off. They absolutely pull it off. It's funny in the beginning, and it gets to a point where it almost it feels excessive, and you're sort of like, oh, this is dumb. Apparently a lot of people walked out of it at Sundance, and I can see why, from the first 5 minutes. I took Zach to see it, and he was, and at one point he looked at me like, "Why did you take me to this?" but then it gets way better. He ended up really liking it too. So basically, yes, through farts, through a lot of like childish, silly things, you learn a lot about just our own society of like why do we hide these certain things that everybody has to do, like and why do we have to feel shame to be normal, and why do we have to, it is about being different, and it is about how being yourself is something that people say you should do, but they don't really mean it a lot of the time, and so it's very interesting. They sort of went into that. Apparently, Quentin Tarantino read their screenplay and got teary-eyed. So, like, that's awesome. What we're talking about. Yeah, it's just really well done. It's wonderful chemistry. There's some really, really well done like special effects. The Daniel Radcliffe character, he's literally a Swiss Army man. He uses them as a tool for different ways of surviving in the wilderness, and so he'll have them like strike against like a rock or something, and like fire will just happen, and so that's really cool. The soundtrack is really cool. I didn't find out until later that like pretty much the entire soundtrack is Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe, and they're just singing about like what they're doing in the movie.
That's awesome.
So like apparently in the montage thing, they're actually like singing montage at a couple points, which is great. It's weirdly musical. There's like some musical aspects to the film. It's a really great character study for both of them. It's really fascinating. You kind of find out Paul Dano's character is a little creepy, and then that gets reintroduced at the end of the movie in this very real way, and it's heartbreaking, and it's so sad. But it does end on an uplifting note. So I had a really good time with this movie, and I knew it was going to be weird going into it. I already heard about the farting, I had heard about some of the really bizarre stuff in it, but as a whole, it just works. I don't exactly know why, but it does. Actually, I do know why. It's because it's heartfelt. Like,
yeah.
Actually, it's another movie where it wears its heart on its sleeve, and it really shows its true colors. The Lobster is very different. It is very cold, and this movie answers a question that I'm angry that I've never gotten to ask, and that is, what if Stanley Kubrick made a movie about the modern dating world? And you get that exact answer with this movie. It's wonderfly shot. There are many parts that feel very Kubrick. Basically, the story of the movie is Colin Farrell is this recently single guy, so he has to go to this hotel where they put single people, like in this society, and they're all put in this place where they have to like mingle with each other. It's almost kind of like speed dating, and if they don't find somebody within, I think, a month, they get turned into an animal. So Colin Farrell chooses a lobster for very logical and funny reasons. This movie is incredibly dry. It's labeled as a comedy. Pretty much anywhere you look. I didn't laugh a lot, but there were parts where I was like, "That's funny." It's definitely not a laugh out loud movie. But I kind of took it more as a drama, and I liked it in that way. But it's kind of surreal at the same time. Colin Farrell is great in it. John C. Reilly shows up, and he's a very sympathetic character, as he always is. Yep. He's so good at being sympathetic. This is something sort of pitiful about John C. Reilly, but very lovable at the same time. It is a movie that's kind of like two halves. So the first half is him at this hotel, and the second half is him escaping it basically and trying to like make it on his own with Rachel Weisz's character. And they have a really wonderful sort of odd chemistry, and they really work as a couple for some reason. Within the context of the movie, it's very strange because again, everybody is very cold, and everybody kind of like says what they're thinking, but because it's in this style, it works. It doesn't feel dumb or like poorly written. It feels very smart. It feels like, oh, they're going for a very specific tone here. It's by the guy who did Dogtooth. And that movie's incredible, and it's sort of the same vibe where it's weird, and you can tell it's kind of being funny, but at the same time it's a little too shocking at times to actually be funny, and that almost makes it funny. It's very strange, but this guy does a great job of doing that tone, and that movie's also kind of Kubrickian. There's something about the way it's shot. It's very still. It's very quiet. I don't know why I really enjoyed this movie. This is a very divisive movie too, The Lobster. A lot of people had mixed feelings about this movie. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's my number 2. So Zombie Man and The Lobster.
So there you go.
There you go.